We're back, trying a new thing out, which will definitely work this time, I promise, guys. I want to see how fast can I beat Castlevania Symphony of the Night Randomizer if I give myself a few chances to do so. So, I fell. Over the course of, I don't know, every once in a while, I'm going to try this out. Speaking of trying things out, my favorite skip in the game. The goal is I want to see how fast I can beat the randomizer with the same settings. So over the course of like a couple of attempts, I want to see how fast of a seed we can find. This is just guarded OG, but the requirements are that I kill all bosses, and then I have a couple of quality life things on, like anti-freeze is on, skipping the prologue, stuff that just kind of helps speed things up. I also have a random starting location on. There we go. Do a quick little skip here. Everyone's favorite skip in the game. And I also wanted a reason to actually like try hard a little bit in this game because I haven't done so in a while. Ow. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, hope you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Your boy is trying his best to get back up in the good graces of the algorithm. As it turns out, not posting for a while is not the greatest ways to do so. But we'll see. We'll see. Go. If I also tier 3 sub on Patreon, it's another $20 enough to survive. Yes, that's all I need actually. $20 is enough to pay all of my bills. Let's go ahead and check this out. Life max up's probably not necessary. There we go. But yeah, something like this is kind of more the type of thing that I'm more interested in the speedrunning side of this game right now, is like, what are some ways that I can keep the game fun and fresh for myself whilst challenging myself? That's one of the reasons why Impossible Challenge exists in the first place, because I just wanted a reason to play the game in a different and challenging way. Speedrunning is a way to do that. It's just the way that the current speedrun meta for Symphony of the Night is very difficult for me to want to push for better times. At least in its current iteration. I don't know. Maybe things will change. Maybe a new skip will be found or something that'll make things more fun. I've considered going into low percent bat and trying to optimize that a little bit, because there is a new skip there, but it's going to take like a lot of dedication to like find setups to make it work RTA, because it was shown off in like a task setting, so I don't know how RTA viable it all is. But yeah, we're in a spot where likely outside of glitchless, luck mode is just the fastest thing you can do in every SotN category, and luck mode makes things, funny enough, require more good luck to go your way, because a lot of things can go wrong in luck mode with like the lower stats and like the chance for crits to mess up your experience route and double kills and all this other garbage. It makes for, in my opinion, a slightly frustrating experience if your goal is to just go for world records nowadays. But that also could just come from me being tired of it. Whereas the randomizer, I can keep having new things to do. So. Do any categories use the GTI club code? There's no reason to, because Shop Glitch just exists. Doesn't that just give you a bunch of money at the start? You can just do Shop Glitch on the Saturn version. And even then, all the Saturn speedrun categories are very underexplored and not really standardized. Like, all of the Alucard categories are basically just... In fact, there's only one real Alucard category, and you play as Maria at the start. So... Alright, Slugger and Gaibon's done. No Saturn glitchless yet. I mean, nobody's really tried to make it a thing. The thing with Saturn that's just annoying is the fact that the difference between emulator and console is so huge that, like, you have to split them between their own separate categories. And, like, not to say that I would love to play the Saturn version on actual hardware, but if I had to choose between playing the Saturn version on emulator or playing on hardware, I would rather play on hardware, because playing Saturn on emulator is incredibly frustrating, because all of the emulators are very inconsistent when it comes to frame rates, dropping inputs, all of the things that make speedrunning on emulator frustrating for Symphony of the Night. That's a Vlad relic. We do need that to beat the game. I don't know. Like, if I'm just chilling and having fun and doing silly stuff, I don't mind playing on emulators. But as soon as I have to, like, actually grind and, like, try for something serious, like a world record attempt, there's no way that you're going to make me lose runs on a software that, like, will randomly just drop inputs because BizHawk is just not designed to have a consistent level of, like, input reading. You know what I mean? BizHawk cares much more about the TAS environment than it cares about real life or RTA speedruns. And for that reason, many times I have proven how 2 instances of BizHawk accepting inputs at the same time, like, you'll get dropped inputs from one to the other. Every time I've done a 2 seeds, 1 controller run. That could be Windows' fault. I mean, it could be Windows' fault, but regardless, if Windows is dropping the inputs, it's dropping the inputs. And you're asking me to do speedruns where if I make one mistake, I am likely to reset. It doesn't change the issue, where whether it's the emulator's fault or whether it's Windows' fault, it could be Windows' fault. I could 100% believe that. It doesn't change the fact that, like, I don't know, when I was doing Saturn any percent, there were so many moments where I would input a wing smash, and the the emulator would just say no. It's like, sorry, you missed a diagonal because reasons. And it's like, oh, well, now I can't PB anymore because of a thing that was completely outside of my control. You know what I mean? Whereas dedicated hardware, at least you can understand the idiosyncrasies. It's more consistent on actual hardware, generally speaking. Strength potion's probably not necessary. We have Varda and a bunch of other stat boosting items, so we're chilling. That hit me? Wow. Ooh, Jewel of Open Start could be a little sketch, but it's fine. That's my second favorite game / series. I mean, it's probably Dark Souls, generally. Although I still need to finish Dark Souls 2. I've only played bits and pieces of it. For what it's worth, later versions of BizHawk feel better for Saturn now. Yeah, but I'm sure that the load times and lag are significantly different, right? Because every version of BizHawk I thought had different versions or different load time and lag. I'm just going to go to the caverns. We have a 50-50 on our hands, and there's not much we can do about it. Opinion on Bloodborne? I would like to like Bloodborne, and I think Bloodborne is probably a good game. The only issue is the only time I had the opportunity to try and play Bloodborne, it was on an original PS4. Just like stock launch PS4. So the game ran at like 10 FPS and genuinely gave me a headache because of how low the frame rate was and how unresponsive the game felt at such a low frame rate. Yeah, the maximum frames you can get out of Bloodborne on official hardware without any sort of soft mods is 30 FPS. Which, honestly, if the game was a smooth 30 FPS, I'd probably be okay with it. But, like, standard launch PS4 Bloodborne was miserable. Did GoldenEye 007 do the same for you? Bad frame rate? I mean, a game having a bad frame rate does not necessarily mean I'm going to outright hate the game, but it doesn't help. Whoa. 007 is... I just hate the concept of the controls in 007 because... I don't know. It's a first-person shooter on the N64 where you have to use the C-pad to aim. And there's, like, insane auto-aim and janky-ass... Everything about GoldenEye just doesn't make sense from a modern, like, FPS context. Okay, well, that's bad. Yeah, if I ever were to try Bloodborne, I would probably play it on emulator. I'll let you know if there's any tracker issues. So I think we want to save split for this. Because if it's not down there, behind at what's it called, Merman statue, then I mean this run is basically GG's at that point. But I don't think the shop had much for us, but there might still be something worth buying if it comes up. Is it Ichi-sama? Is that how I say that? Welcome to the stream. Dude, the Hobby and Dagger hitbox is a little jank. I don't think the Ring of Fëanor is actually something that I need to put on. That's more money. Old FromSoft games hate when you go beyond 60 FPS. What are you talking about? What do you mean old FromSoft games? You mean all FromSoft games? Even Elden Ring is 60 FPS locked. Even the Night Rain is 60 FPS locked. Old like Elden Ring. Elden Ring is old. Oh my... Okay. So that could be progression, actually. That could be progression. Which means that we're supposed to go down to the mines. Yeah, Night Rain is 60 FPS locked. Old is 2025 and earlier, so true. Speaking of Night Rain, I still have fun playing Night Rain. I know not everybody was like loves the game, especially a lot of friends like FromSoft old heads don't really like the game, but I think they did a good job. I do wish that they did more with the game, but I understand it's a small project in the grand scheme of things. Not sure if my $10 in the DLC was worth it. I think the DLC map is so different, and the bosses are pretty high quality, that and the characters themselves that you got are pretty high quality, that it's not the worst example of DLC out there, but it's also not amazing. I don't know. Also, I need to kill Grand Flune at some point. This is an all bosses run, so I'm just gonna do it now, I think. The only way that this loses me time is if I was supposed to go somewhere else to get Soul of Bat first, but this can technically be anything because Grand Floon's now in logic. This was a seed where the intended logic chain was Soul of Wolf plus Power of Wolf to jump across the bridge to get into the mines. Obviously, we have the bridge break tech to skip that, but still. Oh. I thought that was an Alucard sword, but it was just a javelin. Dark Armor's great. In fact, I'm going to put that on now. Honestly, I'll do this for damage. It's probably better. Oops. Yeah. Can have something to let you escape the mines. I mean, I got Leapstone from Demon Card, so I think that counts, right? That like that's the progression that you get a Demon Card, and that puts Grand Floon in logic. Finding Power Wolf at Merman feels horrifying. Both have to have it? What do you mean? Grant has to be something? That Grant's escaping? Wait, why? Why is it both? That's how the requirement is written? What? Wait, why? Like, I understand that that's how the requirement is written, but why is it written like that? Who... Like, what edge case is that trying to solve for? Or is it that you can't have it be a, this or this? Like, you can't have escape requirement be Grand Floon or Demon Card? Like, you can't just write it to be that way? It has to be both in order to guarantee it for one reason or another. I'm just very confused that that's the situation. I mean, I'm happy that I got Bat where I did, but that's interesting that it's written that way. Because that's very unintuitive from my perspective. Because the way I understand escape requirements are that I always thought, because I guess escape requirements only come up like in this scenario and in Holy Glass's location. So for that reason, it's a little bit odd. Should I go back up that way? No, I can just do it later. Because in theory, you could skip Demon Card. Oh, okay, that makes sense, actually. Yeah. Because if you go past Demon Card, then you need something to escape Grand Floon. That makes sense to me. Okay. Is there a reason you skip Spikebreaker? I don't need it. What do I need Spikebreaker for? Not really. It's the same as if you get rings out of logic. It's not the same as if as getting rings out of logic. Because Demon Card is a location that is in logic. And wait, actually no, because Grand Floon is not in logic with Wolf and Power of Wolf. Is it not? It is? Okay. So because it's in logic, it has to have a separate escape requirement, is the thing. Okay. So each of them have their own separate escape requirement. That makes sense. That was the part I was confused about. Because my understanding is Grand Floon's not in logic until you have at least Leapstone or Gravity Boots. Like, it's not in logic to go down there until you have the escape requirement. But I guess that wouldn't make sense because then Demon Card wouldn't be in logic until you had escape requirements for that either. And yeah, okay. For some reason, somebody told me at one point that Grand Floon isn't in logic until you have gravity boots or leaps down, like a long time ago, and I just internalized that that was always the case. Okay, that makes sense. So I need to get Silver Ring, which means I need Mist. And I also still need glasses. I think I'm going to skip Castle Entrance for now. Because it is kind of out of the way, and we don't need to do it, and we just hope that it's not a Vlad relic. For the sake of speed. Well, there's Mist, okay. So now... What's the order I want to do this in? Probably... If I had the shortcut open for Colosseum, this would be kind of good. Because I could just go from here to get Silver Ring, I think. Vanilla music. I don't know if it's vanilla music throughout the entire game, but in this location it's vanilla, yeah. I mean, understanding randomizer logic is honestly the thing that makes speedrunning randomizers fun, because you're able to kind of understand the algorithms that place the relics where they're supposed to be placed. And that's how you gain an advantage in like a speedrunning scenario. So it sounds like a bunch of nonsense. It kind of is if you don't take the time to like try and understand it, but from like a casual perspective, there's no reason to try and understand it. Okay, so the music randomization is not on. I guess it's not on by default in this preset for some reason. Probably because it's an old preset. No worries, Sonny. I completely understand that feeling. Sometimes you need a little bit of distraction and white noise to make the evil thoughts go away. I truly understand that. And, well, I need this. Perfect amount of MP. I need to kill the boss. There we go. I need to do Silver Ring, but I can combine it with All Rock since I need to do that anyways. The problem is that I need to turn around and then do... You know what? I'm going to get the shortcut, actually. I'm going to open it. I think it has the potential to save me a tiny amount of time, so I'm going to do it. And it lets me refill my MP here. Refill my MP here. I don't know that we fixed the part where turning things on, off on the website works now. I'm trying to think. And that's the problem, is thinking is hard. Is there a reason why the quality of life / like not impactful rando settings like no because your character color is saved using, I assume, like cookies or something like that, or whatever your like browser settings. Is there a reason why the quality of life changes, like music rando and color rando, aren't saved in the same way? Thank you for the tier 3, Project Omega.
_carrot.
_carrot. I gotta update the tier 3 count. Hold on. Perfect timing for that. Huge. Some presets turn them off or on. Yes, but why? Like, why is that handled by the preset? I guess is the question that I'm asking. And not handled, like... Because they theoretically have no impact on the way the preset is actually played. Is this just like a system that was created at one point? And now it's like, well, we're not gonna, you know, not use it. Yeah, that's what I figured. It would just be more effort to separate them at this point. Ow, that hurts. Yeah, because like the color change for the character is obviously a separate thing. Did I never pick up a mana prism at all? That's not good. It's not broken and we're afraid of breaking it, true. That's fair. I completely understand that. I guess I'll just do this to save a little bit of MP. Because now I need enough MP to escape here. Which is not ideal. Okay, we're gonna die now? Potentially? Okay, the spike hitboxes are going crazy. What's broken? Nothing's broken. I'm just starting to realize how much of a mess the Randomizer project is in many ways, and I'm only scratching the surface. I'm sure you guys are more aware. Because I was asking about the music randomization and why it's on and off depending on like the preset and not like based off of the browser thing when you create the seed on SotN.io. But now I realized via Eldritch essentially telling me that that's just how it is. Which is fair. Anti-freeze and fast warps are annoying ones. Yeah. I mean, those have like actual gameplay impact, so I understand needing to turn those on and off depending on the preset. But to me, those are essentially just quality of life changes, even though that's not exactly true. Fast warps is 100% just quality of life, in my opinion, where anti-freeze, there are gameplay implications to that just nobody cares about but me. And like old school speedrunners who care about experience routes. But experience routes make no sense in a randomizer context for the most part. Yeah. Wait. I already did this. What the f... My brain is small. I'm supposed to go to Gold Ring now. That's just big time loss for no reason. If only we had to have to select a set of options all toggled based off of a drop-down away. If you're talking about presets, then this brings me back to my initial argument that the presets need to be... I mean, I'm sure you guys are well aware. They could use some more work. In my opinion. Fast warps can matter, yeah. That's true. One day we'll separate out the hacks. I love the speedruns that cheat video. Yeah, check that out. The main channel video, I didn't get a chance to really talk about it on stream because I stopped streaming for a while, but I did upload a new main channel video while I was gone. And I'm very proud of it. I think it was very well made. And I'm happy to have made it. Some presets don't need to be there anymore. I'm of the opinion that... Oh, it's exclamation mark new vid. Drops it, not new video. But yeah. I'm of the opinion that purging the website of even more presets is probably warranted. But yeah. Like, I'm gonna be real, OG and guarded OG don't need to exist. You could just have one. For example, since you can literally make the other by just changing the logic thing. It's typically how we call things, yeah. I think that's how, oops, the current... No, I forget how they do it. The Metroid Map Rando, they have their own way of handling presets, where I think there's, like, the current, like, raced season presets at the top, and then you have to, like, scroll down or something to get old presets or something. I don't even know if they still have old presets. I'd have to double-check the website. But yeah. I think archiving all of the presets somewhere is a good idea, obviously, for the sake of, you know, posterity, but... Uh, 32 minutes to get holy glasses isn't terrible, I guess. We have to kill Hippogriff. Oh, I should have considered that actually in my route. I always forget about Hippogriff, but that's fine. Because we could just go do it now, I think, is probably the best time. Especially with no library cards. We kind of just have to. Oh, and Lesser Demon, actually. Ooh, that's bad. No library cards really makes this awkward. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just gonna go this way. Of course I get rejected. Just like in real life. There we go. So yeah, it's to make a pretty big detour for these bosses. But once we get to second castle, presuming we find the last flat relic there, we'll be golden. The only things I ended up skipping is, what is it? Just the one castle entrance check. We've already killed Minotaur Werewolf, so we can just go. So yeah, they're gonna have to go this way, grab the warp all the way to outer wall. I mean, the assumption is that last flat is second castle, but we'll see. I could have skipped that warp. That would have been a pretty safe call to skip the All Rocks warp. Mermaid statue loves popping up when no one expects it. It's true. That could be the problem. And I'm well aware of that, but if that happens, I mean, we just lose 10 million years worth of time. So it is what it is. I love how that just doesn't hit at your feet. Big fan of the beam dagger. We have Christogram at home. Oh my god. I think Mist could pass, maybe. Well, we got Gas Cloud. Super worth it. We needed to kill the boss anyway, so doing this relic check is fine. Drop the Wing Smash. Yeah, Mist could pass. Doesn't mean that it will. That's so true. Okay. I should have enough MP for this, I think. We're doing all bosses, so we are going to do left side. There's no reason for me to do that. But that's fine. Okay. There we go. That's pretty fast. And saved MP. Could be worse. Damn. $38 minutes. It's gonna take us at least like 15 to kill all the bosses if I had to guess. Reverse library card. That does change things, actually. That changes the route significantly, but is it still faster? Yeah, I think it actually is faster to ignore the reverse library card, funny enough. Because the only time you would do it is at Galamoth. And, like, does it even save that much time? I don't know. Well, actually, it does save a decent amount of time. Can't I just do it right now? I guess I could do it now to keep... Yeah, just snap it after Darkwing. I think that is an option? I don't know. The question is like, how much time are you really saving from this movement? Probably like a minute or two? That's pretty decent. Could be worse, I guess. See you later, Crimson. What was I doing? I did take care of some very important IRL stuff that made me not stream for a long time. That's kind of the long and short of it, to be honest. I probably should refill my MP, but I might be able to explain a little bit better in the coming months, but it's hard to say. There's like legal stuff involved, so I try not to say too much because I don't want to suffer any legal consequences or have somebody look up information about what I'm talking about and then like find me because of it, find personal information because of it. I know everyone's very curious and they're only asking because they care, but it's unfortunately disappointing that I can't say more. I think people are just very used to streamers and people online, like online personalities, like oversharing shit in general. Like, there's people who are like, they'll just share everything about their lives and like just not care about the consequences, and then consequences happen, and then they're like, oh shit, consequences. And it's like, yeah, that is kind of how it goes, sadly. I'm just gonna do this to speed this up a little bit. Realistically, if I was like insane at the game, I would skip this check and just hope that the last Vlads are on bosses, but... Or last Vlad, singular, is on a boss. And for that reason, I'll probably die. I'll probably just die. So how many checks are left? I'm skipping one. This would be skipping another check if I didn't go up here, which I don't want to. I don't really have the MP to do it. But I think the math works out where I can pretty safely be guaranteed. It's like an 80% chance that I didn't leave it behind if I check this. Okay. Look out, the internet trolls. You know, when I think of internet trolls, I do think of the cave trolls, actually. I mean, it was like a 2-minute, minute and a half time loss to give me a, what is it, a 2 in... six chance instead of a 3 in 6 chance. Still not great odds, actually. Still pretty scary. Is it 6, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 6 checks left in the second castle. What up, Arikan? Really? 15-minute drive took an hour because of horrible weather. Dude, tell me about it. I've definitely had that happen many a times. Yeah. The worst part is when it's like, I don't know, you're in an area where it's like this type of weather is to be expected at this time of year, and yet nobody's prepared for it. Why is that the case? Sometimes people just forget how to freaking drive, man. The north is covered in snow. There's been a couple of snowstorms this year, yeah? Already, like some big ones. Force of Echo skip is a very interesting choice in a race. I mean, in an all bosses preset, it kind of makes sense, in my opinion. Because Force of Echo is just a check that doesn't have any other value associated with it, because there's not a boss associated with it. So it's one of the few things that you know that you can skip, that your opponent can also skip. Like, it's no different than skipping Grand Form, in my opinion. And many people think that that's like a perfectly reasonable skip to have happen in like any other type of preset. In my streaming career, what's the most enjoyable thing you've ever been able to do? It's definitely participate in like marathon events. I think the Speedrun Coliseums have been probably the highlight of that, because they're very low stakes, like low pressure types of speedrunning events that are much more about having fun and like community engagement. But also some of my most, like, I don't know, fun has also come from GDQ events, so it's tough to say. I'd love to go to a Speedrun Coliseum. Well, about that, I don't know if those are ever happening ever again, sadly. They might, who knows? Like, the people who run the Coliseum events are still around. I just don't think that the Speedrun Coliseum specifically are going to be around. I think they've been replaced with the, not replaced, but they're prioritizing other charity avenues and other communities. It was a lot of fun. I am going to miss it, that's for sure. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, the other thing that I think is really cool is the tournament series that I've been able to put on. Specifically, the bingo one, I think was probably the most involved tournament series that I put together, because it was like me and, like, you know, obviously people from the community helping make the presets work, or the preset work. And people like being on board to play bingo, which is a brand new format for a lot of players. Like, I don't know, that was probably the most interesting and cool thing I've ever done on stream. For sure. Bingo's cool. I might mess around with bringing something like that back again. I would need to make my own, I think, bingo software, because, what is it, Bingo Sync is not, I think, the ideal platform for the things that I wanted to do with bingo, personally. I know the Elden Ring bingo community, they have their own program that's, like, similar to Bingo Sync, but it's like a custom-made thing. But yeah. I think I made bingo preset for the 316 rando. I'm pretty sure it's still in there, yeah. Just learn HTML and do it. Yeah, I could. Not bad. That was a pretty decent fight, all things considered. Can't you just inspect elements on Bingo Sync and just copy and paste the whole website? Isn't that how that works? Copium? Alright, well, we're out of MP here. Nice dive kick hitbox. Throw it up on Medici.com, true. this to refill our MP real quick. Well. Merman situation is crazy. There's still castle entrance as well. We still have 2 more checks left, so it's not like the end of the world. And these are checks we have to do anyways because of all bosses. Live coding is not coding. Wow, Eldritch over here gatekeeping the act of Googling other people's code and putting it into your project. I'm joking. I've never programmed a single project in my life. So he can gatekeep all he wants. I can't stop him. This has similar to how retro achievements work. I think that's a much bigger ask, honestly. Oops. TBH. Okay, well, I've been owned by Facts and Logic, apparently. So it's either Merman Statue or it's Castle Entrance, which is the one thing I skipped in First Castle. You love to see it. Well, it wouldn't be our first attempt at getting a world record if it wasn't a terrible run. To be fair, this just means that the next run is going to be that much. Oh, I'm going the... Well, no, this is actually fine, I think. This will be fine. Yeah, I don't need that refill here. I'll just use this warp to get to Castle Keep. It's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Wonderful run. Thankfully, I have this warp at least. But yeah. Any game recommendations that have the same feel as SotN? I hate to break it to you, but depends on what you mean by game feel. If you mean from a casual point of view, you can play like any of Igarashi's games and they're like similar style-ish. If you mean like literally the mechanics of Symphony of the Night, there's not another game anywhere close to it. As far as game feel goes. Time Spinner is another great experience if you want just like a casual Metroidvania to play through. Team Ladybug, I would look into their games. Tohovania and it's not called Tohovania, whatever it's called. Toho Luna Nights and Deedlit and Wonder Labyrinth are both fantastic. But generally speaking, if you care about like wing smashes and backdash cancels and, you know, the movement that makes Symphony of the Night what it is, you're not going to find that anywhere else because Symphony of the Night is a one-of-one game. I still haven't finished Moonlit Farewell. I should play that game. It was here the whole time. And a karma coin, wow. My hubris for skipping the most important check in the game. It wasn't Merman Statue, at least, but it was the one check that I skipped in the first castle. So, feels bad. The only thing close movement-wise is Hollow Knight. I would disagree very heavily. Hollow Knight does not feel anywhere close to Symphony of the Night, if that's what you're implying, unless I'm misreading your comment. Hollow Knight has a very deep movement system, but it's not anywhere like, it doesn't feel the same. Not even close. And the movement in Hollow Knight oftentimes is there to complement the combat of the game, where Symphony of the Night is not a game about combat whatsoever. The combat is incredibly simple. Same complexity. Sure, I think that's fair. Symphony of the Night's movement complexity is all on accident for the most part. But yeah. I mean, Hollow Knight's is definitely way more intentional. But I've said it many times before. Oh, I went to the wrong location, whatever. It's very strange to find yourself in a spot where you really love and care about a game for reasons that the casual player base doesn't quite fully grasp what their game that they care about actually is when you peel back the mystery of, like, I loved playing it casually for the first time. Like, once the novelty of the game wears off, what's left behind is something that a lot of casuals actually don't like, which is that Symphony of the Night is a game that is not about combat or exploration. It's a game about movement, and the movement is all accidental anyways. So I think there's a bit of sticker shock that comes from when casuals like check out a Symphony of the Night speedrun and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? Why is the game like this? Some people find it impressive, and then others are like, well, you're cheating, so I am not interested at all. Even some speedrunners have come up with that take for whatever reason or not. I vaguely remember an individual talking about frame-perfect shield dashing as if they knew what they were talking about, and using that as a complaint against speedrunning the game. When in reality, they could just have said, I really like the casual aspects of this game, and diving into the speedrun mechanics kind of ruins the magic for me. So for that reason, I find speedrunning the game not as interesting, which is a perfectly fine and reasonable take to have. You know what I mean? Versus, I don't know, man. If you miss a frame-perfect shield dash, you have to reset. Therefore, game is bad speedrun. Sub-hour for an evil seed ain't bad. I mean, it's not even that the seed was evil, it's that... No, it was pretty evil. Jewel of Open Start, but we did guess correctly on the 50-50. Into doing every check in the game, except for one, is kind of bad, but... We did use our library card in a way that was trying to maximize time save, and then it ended up losing us time, which also sucks, but... We can try again and get a better, better time, though. That's the whole point of these, is that we try a couple of these and see how good of a time we can get with new seed, new fun, hopefully. We did start with good weapons for damage. I mean, we had a freaking Varda, for God's sakes. Doesn't get much better than that. And this fight's a little slow. There it is. Time. GG's. 58:41. Let's go ahead and update...
How
our time here.
is it that I've been so defeated? You have been doomed ever since you lost the ability to love. Sarcasm. For what profit is it to a man?
There we go.
If he
So that's the
gains
current
world
best time we have
Lord,
for these settings. We'll try again and see if we can get a better time. If you want to check that out, see if I can do better next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Join the live stream over on twitch.tv/DragonBlitz. Love to see you in chat and love to see you. Drop a sub. Thank you, Pache, for the sub. And have a good one, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye-bye.